baby's coming.
Rhaenyra's last pregnancy in House of the Dragon season finale was clearly one of the most horrific and traumatic pregnancies in the history of cinema and television. The princess was due for another moon, but the news of her father's death and her throne's loss to her stepbrother filled her with such rage that the pregnancy came about very early. The premature baby was anything but human and had dragon-like features. However, the scene had quite a few differences from the book and had more layers than what met the eyes. In this video, we will explore why Rhaenyra goes into early labor and dive deep into the differences between House of the Dragon and Fire and Blood. Let's Dracarys! Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Why does she go into an early labor? The explosive 9th episode of the show ended on a note that can be easily counted as one of the best moments of the entire show. Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, managed to reach her dragon Meleys and broke through the dragon pit and almost roasted the Greens, but she spares them because it was not her war to start. Nevertheless, Rhaenys reaches Dragonstone and requests a meeting with Rhaenyra and Daemon. After a short exchange of pleasantries, Rhaenys drops the informational bomb on Rhaenyra and tells the Realm's Delight that King Viserys has died. And on top of that, Aegon has been crowned in the Dragon Pit before thousands to witness. Rhaenyra was pregnant with Daemon's child, and when she heard that her father was dead and her crown had been snatched, she went into a black fury. Rage filled her veins and she lost control of her body, so much so that she went into an early labor. It was as if the child inside her was angry as well at what had happened and was desperately fighting to come out. How does the scene play out in the book? In the book, it is said that the fetus terribly hurt Rhaenyra in its attempt to come out. The Princess of Dragonstone was shrieking curses at everyone who had brought this calamity upon her. She cursed her half-brother, their mother, the Dowager Queen Alicent, and all those who stood by her. She called upon the wrath of the seven gods and detailed the many ways in which she would inflict a similar pain upon her enemies, the Greens. Furthermore, Rhaenyra was assured that she would not give any of them an easy death. She would torture them before allowing them to die. Sadly enough, just as the baby was about to come out, she started cursing the baby itself. Mushroom said that when Maester Gerardus and the midwives held Rhaenyra, he called the baby a monster and said, "Monster, monster, get out, get out, get out." Once it was out, Rhaenyra and the people standing around were shocked to death. It was a stillborn girl, malformed and twisted beyond repair. Instead of a heart, she had a hole, and her skin was scaly with a little dragon tail. Rhaenyra named this stillborn daughter Visenya, after Aegon the Conqueror's sister wife. Rhaenyra had always wanted a daughter, and when the ordeal was over, she said, "She was my only daughter and they killed her." The overkill birth scene in the season 1 finale. Evidently enough, the traumatic birthing scene is quite different in the show than in the book. Rhaenyra does not allow anyone else to help her and does not address her baby as a monster. However, she was fully aware that it was grave news that had led to early labor. Much like the traumatic and painful C-section delivery of Queen Aemma Arryn, Rhaenyra's delivery was long and painful to watch. She screams in pain and curses, but does not lose her mind as the Rhaenyra from the book did. In fact, she calls her 2 eldest sons and asks Jacaerys to act using his mind rather than his heart. She tells him that no action is to be taken without her approval and that she should relay this message to the future Black Council. Jacaerys abides by his mother's command, but before he leaves, she tells him that he will be the heir to any titles that she holds. Somewhere in her mind, Rhaenyra feared that this birth might prove fatal, and in such an event, she would need an heir. Fortunately enough, that does not happen and she survives the labor. However, her child was stillborn and had scaly dragon-like skin. Interestingly enough, through the painful period of her labor, she kept seeing visions of her dragon Syrax. It was as if Syrax too was feeling the pain that Rhaenyra was enduring. However, there could be a more significant meaning to this, and only the next season will have the answers.
Aerys is the heir to the Iron Throne.
Why does Rhaenyra do it alone? Well, the women in Westeros are expected to perform certain duties during the war. They are not expected to fight in a war, but to serve as mothers and healers. If we look at the scene from a micro-vision, it is evident that while Daemon plans his next course of action on Rhaenyra's behalf, He ignores her screams. He acts like a typical man from the medieval period who is concealed only with his personal duties and cares little about issues such as labor and pregnancy. However, Rhaenyra's war has already started. She knows that she will have an active role to play in the dance, and this was her first battle. She could not control what happened to King's Landing, but she needed to control what was happening to her now. But there was another reason why she did not let anyone else touch or help her. Rhaenyra was aware of how her mother died in the birthing bed, and was scared that if she let the Maester help her, something similar could follow. And clearly she was not prepared to die just yet. There was a kingdom to rule, greens to kill, and war crimes to commit, so she pulled the babe out all by herself. Like most pregnancies in House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra's last pregnancy was a terrible and terrifying one. I personally felt that it was a bit of an overkill, and instead of showing the pain that she felt, they could have worked on keeping the premature baby look similar to how Martin described it in the book. If you like our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.